Every business begins in startup, right? Hopes, dreams, enthusiasm. And the goal of startup is get to 100 grand in revenue. So if you're not at 100,000, you don't really need to build a brand. You don't need to be a key person of influence. You actually just need like a little bit of elbow grease and some hustle and some sales and marketing. And ultimately what we refer to as the chaos method. Number one, you've got a good concept. So a concept means that you have an angle to your value proposition, or like something you're going to market with that is a little bit unique, a little bit different. It's not just the kind of same generic stuff. Part of where a good concept comes from is about connecting the dots of your origin story. It's like, where have you been? What have you done up until now? My belief is that through your experience, you're in this kind of unique position today in order to serve a particular type of person, solve a particular type of problem. So part of how we can deliver a compelling concept is just by having a compelling story and narrative that connects the dots from origin story to the mission you're on today to the vision you've got for the future. You know, that's partly why we're so compelled by someone like an Elon Musk. It's like he's got a big compelling vision of the future. It's totally aligned to the mission he's on today. It's totally aligned to his origin story. It totally makes sense why he's focused on that today, based on his personality, based on everything that he's done in the past. You know, it totally makes sense, you know, based on who David Attenborough is, that, you know, from his origin story to the mission he was on to the vision he had for the future, it all just was in beautiful alignment. And so we feel attracted to, you know, what those kind of people have to say. And so number one is we first get clear the right kind of concept. And a way to think about this is we got a clear problem we're solving. People are willing to spend the money on solving it, and it aligns to the mission you're on today. The next step is we need to start then building a small little audience around it. So put people into groups, get people onto a newsletter, get some way to engage them around the ideas based on the thing that you're presenting and the concept you're pitching and selling. And then finally, when we've got a bit of an audience together, we then engage them and start to put out some ideas, seed some opportunities or some offers to get involved and actually, you know, work together to solve a problem. And then we get out, we have sales conversations, we make sales. Now, in the beginning, it's like pretty inefficient. You might talk to 10 people and you convert 1 in 10, right? That's kind of like the nature of startup. You don't have a lot of credibility, you don't have a lot of authority. And so you're still developing the value proposition. And so it's a bit inefficient, right? You create more efficiency as time goes by, but that's fine. That's the nature of startup. So don't worry so much about building a brand at this point. It's like, let's just focus on clear concept, build a small audience, clarify a good offer, and then get out there and have sales conversations. And you should be able to do that to get to 100,000 as the threshold, right? The crossover. But what happens is you get out of startup and then you hit this next phase of business we call being in the wilderness. And the problem with the wilderness is that, you know, now you've got these core functions of the business. You've got sales, marketing, ops, you've got admin, and you're trying to juggle all the plates. Everyone relate to that? It's like you're trying to do everything yourself. And so you start to go, okay, I need a bit of support. Maybe I'll get an EA or a virtual assistant on board to help me with some ops and fulfillment. You know, you get someone who can help you make some calls to leads and book some appointments and do some sales and marketing. You get some admin help, so on and so forth. And what happens is the extra revenue you make very quickly gets sucked back up into new people and into more infrastructure. And so in the wilderness, it's still a bit of a struggle zone of business, right? You're still chasing new business. You're not that well known yet in order to not need to go out there and do some chasing and some hunting and still kind of make sure that you bring the sales in to keep the lights on. And for you as the founder, you'll earn basic wages at best. Simple rule of thumb, if each of these people costs you 50 grand, you want to make at least 3 times that in revenue in order to cover their wage, plus overhead, plus tax, plus everything else for running the business. So, you know, 150, 300, 450, plus you as the founder, it's like very quickly, the wilderness is between 100 grand or $500,000. You're not making money, you're making basic wages. The business is not going to be that profitable. You're lucky if you can pull out an okay salary for you as the founder, but don't expect profit here. But then what happens is you've got a small team of about 3 to 12 people, right? You're in this next band we call a lifestyle business. And this is a great place to be. Now you've got a more visible profile and brand within the industry. And part of how you've done that is you've shifted from doing so much of the functional stuff of running the business, right? This is all function. And then above the line here is the vital stuff, right? That's you as the KPI. being the brand, elevating the profile and the visibility of the business. And how do you do that? Well, the vital activities are, you're no longer pitching the business one-to-one, you're pitching it one-to-many. How do you do that? Well, as an example, let's say Katie on the call, who's on our team, let's say she lined me up with a great prospect to go talk to for every working day of the year. So at the end of the year, I'd talk to 200 great prospects. Yeah, seems all right. But a key person of influence who's got a bit of profile and a bit of positioning in the market may be invited to speak at someone's association or event. I could go talk to 200 people in one afternoon. And that's like a huge amount of leverage. Catherine, when she launched the podcast, we went from talking to 200 people a year to talking to 200 people literally in an afternoon through the podcast. There's a big shift here between the part of how you get out of kind of that little like wilderness threshold of just being stuck at that, whether it's 10, 20, 30 grand a month mark, is we've got to package the pitch in a way that can get out one to many. Part of how you get there is you've got some positioning around some credible thought leadership content, whether that's things like books, articles, etc. But something like a book's a very powerful way to do that. We'll talk more about that strategy in a second. But what we're doing is we're turning on light bulbs, little light bulb moments for the marketplace at scale. So I showed this example before of a guy like Grant Cardone. What do these thought leaders do well? In a very noisy, competitive marketplace, they help the market separate signal from noise. They've kind of connected to some vital or iconic essence about what they're promising. And through that, they change the narrative from the generic language and the generic stuff that everyone's saying in their space to something that's a little different and unique and something they can own and become known for. So if Grant Cardone was talking about the functional things of what he does, he's like, we help investors invest in real estate, right? Income producing properties at a basic level. But just like his business, and it's the same in yours, no one cares about what you do. They just don't, the market doesn't give a shit about what you do. They only care about what they want. It's analogous to if you buy a seat on an airline, you're not really buying the airline seat. It's not really what you want. What you want is getting to the destination. So your prospects and your market, they don't want what you do. They want a destination. How do we package that destination into something that's more aspirational and compelling? Well, Grant Cardone's done a great job of this. He's codified, he's packaged a very compelling, exciting destination called 10X. 10X your business, your life, your return on your investment, your relationships, everything. And if you had the choice between working with the generic kind of, real estate multifamily investment firm versus the guy that will promise you in 10X and has all the media assets to support that, becomes very kind of obvious who you choose. So when if we were to work together in our program, part of how we do this with you is we establish something we call the buying belief. What do people need to believe in order for all other alternatives to now become irrelevant because they buy into your philosophy? A core buying belief for Fitbit, the little like health tracker, health and wellness comes after 10,000 steps per day, right? Got us sold on that idea. 10,000 steps, that's the minimum threshold to lead a healthy and well life. If an organization like Fitbit or others can convince you or I that statement is absolutely categorically true and that we believe that in every fiber of our being, then of course the product that measures and tracks that goal becomes a very easy and logical next step. That makes sense, right? So the problem that most businesses have is you're out there trying to schlep your products and your services. And I'm going to put it to you that you're trying to make the wrong sale at the wrong time. You're out there trying to sell what you do. The marketplace does not care about what you do. They only care about what they want. What they want is an exciting, aspirational promise and destination, and they want to be shown a way of how to get there. So what we really need to do is we need to come up with how do we package the outcome and package the ideas and sell those ideas in the marketplace first. If we can sell those ideas powerfully, you can get known and recognized for them, and you will own that space. You will go into a category of one. Clarissa is a divorce lawyer, and she helps her clients get to Splitsville, which is a magical place where if you're the kind of couple where your relationship has run its course, but you want to separate, you want to stay out of the courts, and ultimately you want to stay friends. then she's the lawyer that can help you do that. And Splitsville is that destination. Now, as you can see, it's made up, right? But it's got an identity. She's identified an exciting aspirational destination, perfect kind of client. That's where they want to get to. Of course, media are much more interested in hearing from her, talking about that unique or novel idea. She attracts the perfect kind of client that she loves to work with. Talented team are more excited about working in that kind of organization because it's different. Howard Tinker does marketing, but for restaurants. Restaurants don't care about marketing. What they want is more bums on seats. That's the destination he's selling. Or Ben Walker does accounting for business owners, but we don't care about accounting. We don't want to know how it works. All we want is what the accounting produces, which is to save more tax and keep more cash. So he makes the promise, we'll help you get cashed up.